So do you love contouring but you feel like a hot mess once you finish? Then this is the right video for you. So hi y'all, welcome back to my channel, and for today I'm going to teach you how to do this model-like skin, where the skin looks absolutely natural, very flawless looking skin with a little bit of like a natural glowy dewy finish, and it's also going to be extremely sharp with amazing cheek definition and very good contour and jawlines. Now this is a very tricky thing to do, especially for someone like me who has a round face, and it's just there and you just need to figure out a way how to work with it. So I'm going to show you how you can get that model-like glow with that model-like chiseled and contoured face with a very strong lift on your face. Now the lift is the most important key which separates your makeup from anyone else's makeup look. So this is the most important part, and this is one of the main reasons why your contour goes wrong. So step number one is going to be skin prep, and skin prep is the key important factor if you want that beautiful skin. So makeup takes care of the skin discoloration, but skin texture, that's only skincare which is gonna do the work for you. So make sure that you've cleansed your skin really well, exfoliate a couple of times, maybe like over the entire week, and that way your skin is a little more softer and better. And then we're gonna go ahead with toner. So I'm going to use the Minimalist PHA toner, and this has been like a favorite of mine for like the most longest time. I'm just going to take a couple of drops and apply it all over my skin. And then we're going to move on to an eye cream. Now eye creams are the most important thing to use if you want that entire under eye area to look extremely smooth. So this one is the Pilgrim Secrets of Jeju Island eye cream, and I really like this one. It doesn't burn, it doesn't itch, and it has a very creamy consistency, so it's not liquidy like a lot of eye creams, which makes it really good, especially when you want to have your makeup on for a longer period of time, and if you're also trying to work on like a very deep hydration. So for the next one, I'm going to use the Innisfree Green Tea Essence in Lotion, and this one is kind of like a runny consistency, which makes it amazingly good, especially if you don't want your makeup to get very cakey, and also if you have oily skin. So I really like this for oily skin, and this is a must-have because it's water-based and it does not really cake up, and it does not really kind of make you feel like, with some moisturizers when they're very oily, you just feel like it's mixing with your foundation, and your foundation isn't very long lasting and it's not oil proof. So I think this one is a great one for that, and it just gives you a very good base. So when I talk about doing the base, the most common thing which everyone tends to do is to go with probably a very thick foundation all over the skin, and then they use probably a couple of concealers, and they probably go 2 layers of concealer for a little more of coverage. Instead, it is best to work in extremely thin layers. Now this is the most pro tip I can give you when it comes to your base makeup. Work in layers and work in thinner layers. So because of that, I'm going to move ahead to use a corrector first and then go ahead with the foundation and the concealer. I'm going to use the Seri Faded Green Corrector, which is a cream corrector, and I'm going to take that on a very small buffing brush and go on all the areas where I have redness. Now remember that acne marks, especially the fresh active acne, they're all red toned in color, and for red you need to use a green corrector. So I'll be doing only one side to give you a good comparison between both the sides. So we're going to go ahead by using an orange corrector. Now a lot of times people think that it is okay to skip on products like your correctors and your concealers and everything when you're going to do your contour. But remember that if you do not cancel out the pigmentation which is lying on the skin, then there wouldn't be a clear difference in the depth which you're creating on the skin, and that's when everything starts to look extremely muddy, and more than having the lift and the definition with the contour and the highlight, you just start ending up to look a little gray or muddy. So make sure that you are correcting, especially if you're going in for a very strong contoured look. So that's the reason why I'm particularly correcting my skin. That way, we can kind of cancel out any of the darkness which is on the face. More the layers, more the thickness, more is the texture. So it's better to work with a liquid on areas where you can develop a lot of texture, and for areas like acne, we needed more coverage, hence I used a cream. So I'll be dropping all the product names and the links down in the description bar below for you, so you can directly go and check it out. So I'm going to use the LA Girl Pro Concealer in Pure Beige, and we're just going to slightly pat it on the areas wherever I need a little bit of coverage, mainly the areas where we use green. Now, orange, it can slightly be diffused by the foundation itself, but the green can start looking gray if you don't use a concealer. Hence, I'm going to use a bit of concealer and start patting the concealer onto my skin. So let's move on to foundation, and I'm going to use the L'Oreal Infallible Matte Cover Foundation, and this one is in the shade 108. So I'm just going to take the most tiniest amount, and remember that you don't want to apply your foundation directly on your skin. And to get that dewiness on the skin, we're going to mix it with the Lakme Lumi highlighter. Now remember that your foundation is an extremely matte coverage foundation, and when you mix it with a luminizer, it kind of gets a little on the dewier reflective base. But if I directly used a foundation which was very, very dewy, it wouldn't last on my skin because I have oily skin. So this is a much more better way to work with oily skin, but also to have the dewiness on your skin. So what I'm going to do is to use a stippling brush and pick the product from my hand. And I'm not dotting this on my skin because that would actually make you to use more product. And remember that the lesser you use, the more real your skin looks and the more dewier you start looking. So we're just going to use the foundation and pat it on the entire skin. So this will give you the coverage, but it will also not put too much on your skin. Press it onto the nose areas. That way, the pores around the nose will start looking a little more smoother, and the foundation can sit really well on the skin without it looking like as if it's sitting like a layer plastered on top of your face. So you can see that there is so much of product which is still left, and that shows that you use way more lesser than what you need if you go ahead with this method for applying your foundation. So the next pro tip which I would be giving you is to let your base to set by itself for a while. So give it probably around 5 minutes depending on the product which you're using, and the product just automatically settles on your face. And don't jump directly to the next product, then everything is just going to end up looking like a creamy mess on your face. So use less, let it set, and it will kind of settle onto your skin, and it also tends to dry down a bit, and then you can go ahead to the next step. So I'm going to use the LA Girl Pro Concealers, and I have Toast and Light Ivory with me. These are kind of the shades which work for my complexion, and choosing the shades are the most important factor when it comes to your contour and the highlight. And this is something which I genuinely struggled with for years to find the right contour shade, because a lot of times contours are just way too warm, and that just looks like someone slapped you or you fell into mud. So if you don't want that to happen, you need to make sure that your contour is a little more on the neutral to cool tone side. Now when you see this color Toast, it is a neutral to a cool tone. It's not warm, it's not more orangish on the brown spectrum. So you want something which is a little more on the gray tone browns, and this one is the perfect fit for it. So Light Ivory is a concealer shade which is way more lighter than my skin tone, but it is not pink toned in nature. It has that yellowish undertone which helps to brighten without ending up looking gray. So if you're going to choose your products for doing your contour and the highlight, go for around 2 to 3 shades lighter with the highlighter and around 4 shades darker with the contour. So now remember that when you look at models, they have a very structured face. So if your face is very round, you need to kind of give it length and give it a bit more structure. You want to pull it slightly. How do you pull it? You want to start contouring out the sides. If you contour the sides of your face, automatically that area looks like it is lesser. So when the area starts looking lesser, your face will also start looking thinner. So when I do the sides, it just starts to reduce the width of the forehead. You want more width around the eye area, that way your face starts looking more oval. So stop exactly above the eye area. So once you apply it in, you can just slightly blend it out. Blend it along the edges and pat your product in. Do not pull, and first blend it up into the hairline, and with whatever is left, you can start pulling it downwards. To do the cheek, make sure that you're not directly drawing it because it's literally on the middle of the face. So if I draw a stripe, there's going to be an edge either on the bottom or the upper side, or I have to move it so much to blend it in, and in that movement, I'm going to move my foundation and my corrector, and all of my acne spots are going to be visible. So what I'm going to do is to take my contour on, you can take it on a makeup plate, or you can just take it on the back of your hand. And when you look at models, their face looks more longer and they have a very, very, very sharp cheekbone. Now, how can you create a cheekbone for someone like me when there is literally nothing see? You can see in the side, you don't have my cheekbone which is seen at all. So to fake it and to make it look like you have a cheekbone, you need to kind of connect it in a way that way it looks more natural. So doing a stripe is not going to work for us. So what I would expect is to find this ear lobe which you're having and the top part of it. So this place and this place, somewhere in the middle of it, that is going to be the place where your contour will start. Now from the place where it starts, go in a direction which is going towards your lip. So we're going to apply a product and blend at the same time. So I've taken very less and I'm just tapping and working it towards the lip area and stopping at the end of the eye. So you've got a bit of product application, and now what I'm going to do is to clean my brush completely, and then I'm going to blend the upper sides of the contour by just kind of tapping and patting on it and connect this to the temple area. That way it's not like a stripe and it looks more blended. Blend it out. You can even use your foundation brush with whatever excess foundation is sitting on top of it, and you can buff out the front areas. That way the color is slightly lighter and also does look more sharper. So this is going to give you that chiseled cheek, and it also gives you a very lifted cheek, and that lift will help the roundness of your face to reduce, and it gives you a much more stronger bone structure. Now after this, let's work on our double chin and the jawline. So I'm just going to take a bit more of the contour, and first thing is to make sure you go on the under area and don't apply it on the top. Now a lot of people, they apply it on the bone, but you're supposed to go under the bone, which can only be seen if someone is standing below you. So it goes like this and not from the front. The light hits you from the front. Now after this, all you have to do is to find the hollow and trace it towards the back of the ear. Connect it to the back of the ear. That way, even if, like, let's say your hair is put up in a bun or a pony, you don't see a very distinct line and it all starts looking very blended. So connect it really well to the back of the ear. Blend out the lower edges. So doing this, so you can see the difference it makes. It gives you such a sharp jawline. And let's say that you want to kind of add up and make it a little more sharper. What you can do is you can find your neck cavity. So you will be able to find your throat like this. You can kind of hold it and it kind of continues to here. So you'll find a line which comes here. So apply a bit of contour along that area. Slightly downwards and blend it in. Make sure you blend out the upper edges like towards the jaw. That way, even if you move or you're kind of turning or anything, there's no lines which are visible. So blend it right and make sure that there are no lines anywhere. You can clearly see a difference between both the sides. The side looks much more thinner, lifted, contoured, sharper, without your double chin seen like how it is seen on this side, especially in this area. And over here, it looks so much more better. So we're going to pick up a cream highlighter again on the back of the hand, because the cream highlighter mainly goes in all the areas where we also get a lot of skin texture, which is in the center of the face. So if you apply too much of it, it's again going to start looking cakey. So we're going to work on the same principle by bringing in the light where we're not very, very chubby, and which could all create that vertical lifted effect. So how we're going to do it is to take a bit of your concealer and let's start doing the forehead area where you want it to look much more lifted, and take it in an upwards angle right over here, as this will increase the size of your forehead. And then I'm going to not take it I'm not going to extend it in the width, rather I'm just going to blend it upwards. So that gives you this natural lift like your forehead is going upwards. So you want to make sure that this focus is on the center of the eye and you want to pull it downwards. So I'm just going to apply a lighter color in this area along the sides of the nose, as it helps your nose also to look much more thinner. And you bring in the light into this part of the face. Clean this area which is right under our eye and give ourselves a good lift in this area. So this is again going to lift your face up, and it's going to give you that kind of a pulled up effect, which makes your contour, the jawline, as well as your eye all parallel to each other. So when it gets parallel, it's going to give you the illusion of your face not kind of going downwards, and it starts looking lifted automatically. So it just gives you a good structure and it pulls your face upwards now. The lip highlighter and the jaw contour will both come in the same line. Like if I keep a scale, they will both be sitting on the same line. So for the next step, we're going to move on to setting our base, and we're going to slightly bake some areas, and I'll show you why do we have to bake if you want that lifted effect, because baking is also going to give you a tint of color because the powders are all yellow toned in color. So yellow is going to help you to brighten it up, and it's also going to help your highlighter to look a little more accentuated. So we're going to use some of it, and we're going to kind of sculpt our face at the same time. And we're going to start to kind of sculpt some areas out. So you can see that it gives you that straight out lift when you use a bit of powder on the areas wherever you want it highlighted. So I'm using a puff to set my base because using a puff will help to push the product well into the skin, and it helps to kind of avoid anything like creasing over a period of time. So for the next step, we're going to use the Wet n Wild Mega Glow powder, and we're going to use the contour color in this, and this is like a gray toned powder. So I'm just going to take very little bit of it and slightly go along the sides, and this will just give you a bit more of structure, and it will also help to set your liquid contour. Just slightly curving it up rather than doing a line over here. That way, it just looks a little more smoother. Take it slightly towards the centers of the neck. You want to balance out the tones between the neck and the face. So we're just going to go slightly darker, and you want to bronze up this area of your face. So I'm just going to go ahead with the Swiss Beauty highlighter. I think these look beautiful on the skin. They're extremely reflective, and they just look like skin. Like they do not have that shimmery, chunky kind of particles going on, which makes it look so beautiful. So you want more attention towards the back of the cheekbone instead the front, because if I extend my highlighter frontwards, I'm going to get a pop of highlight over here, and when you smile, that's just going to look much more stronger, making you look more chubbier again. I'm just going to take the most tiniest bit and go on this area above the arch of my eyebrow, and I'm going in an upwards angle. I'm not pulling it down, and I'm not doing something horizontal. I'm taking it upwards, and I'm just going to slightly diffuse out the edges. So when you turn, it gives you that reflex. Add some at the bridge of your nose. So now let's just move on to blush, and this is my most favorite blush, and this is the Eba Cheek Tints. These are the most beautiful ones, and they're definitely something which you should have. So this one is the shade Sheer Peach, which is like the most beautiful peach. I think this will work really good across all skin tones. And I'm going to pick that up on a brush, and we're going to pat it, and notice the place where I'm patting it. I'm going on the back of my face between my contour and the highlighter, and we're going to slightly drape it here all the way towards my temple right over here, and with whatever is left you can start taking it downwards. Don't bring it too much towards the apples of the cheek, and you want to focus on the area which is kind of the cheekbone area, because at the end of the day blush is a color, and that is also going to help with accentuating your makeup. So it will give you the lift if you're applying it in the right place. So with whatever is left in your blush brush, I'm going to slightly blend it right over here after the arch of the eyebrow, and kind of give it this shape like a V shape over here, because your highlighter went up too, right? So you want to give it like a V shape. It gives you like a natural sunburnt effect if you like that look, and it also gives you a lift because of the color too. So I just finished up the eyes and the lips, and oh my god, I love the structure which it gave me. I was just looking at it at another mirror, like a longer mirror, and it gave me the most beautiful structure. I am so in love with this technique. And so if you're somewhere around my skin tone, you can directly go and shop for these products. It makes it a lot more easier, and you'll also get that perfect amount of, the depth as well as the highlight between them. So I hope you will enjoy this video, and give me a big thumbs up if you like this, and stay tuned for more. Until next time, bye.